Caitlin Clark's journey to the top of women's basketball has been nothing short of extraordinary.
This girl is incredible. What she did in college for women's basketball, what she's doing in the WNBA.
She turned the Fever, we're 1-8. They have a winning record now.
But the number of attention, eyeballs she's brought to college and the pros, and for these women to have this petty jealousness.
And she's making sure her critics can't keep up. Whether it's rivals on the court, sports analysts grasping for attention, or former legends clinging to their glory days, the hate toward Caitlin has become as predictable as her record-breaking performances. But here's the kicker. Every time they try to throw her off her game, she shuts them down with another victory. Clark doesn't just play basketball, she dominates it, and in doing so, exposes her critics for what they truly are, irrelevant and jealous. When Skip Bayless, infamous for his outlandish hot takes, decided to throw shade at Caitlin Clark,
saying Angel Reese is better than Caitlin Clark,
it came off as nothing more than a desperate attempt to stay relevant. "I lost respect for Caitlin Clark," Bayless recently claimed on his show. But here's the thing. Who's really losing sleep over Skip's tired opinions? Clark is out there rewriting basketball history, while Skip is stuck in his predictable cycle of trying to tear down every rising star that threatens his outdated perspectives. While Bayless spends his time nitpicking the performances of athletes who are far beyond his grasp, Caitlin Clark is leading a revolution in women's sports. If anything, Skip's comments only make him look small.
Where Rookie of the Year is over 2-3 weeks ago, all of a sudden, Caitlin Clark is starting to push A'ja Wilson for MVP of this league, and I am not exaggerating. She is starting to push A'ja as the best player in the league because I don't see anybody control a game the way Caitlin can. So, Brittany, there is much truth in your very fiery words, and I do.
As Clark continues to break record after record, it's clear she's on a different level, a level that Bayless simply can't understand. Even WNBA Hall of Famer Lisa Leslie couldn't stay silent amid the growing hate. In a recent interview, Leslie fired back at the critics. "I've seen players come and go, but Caitlin is special. You can't deny her impact, no matter how much you try to tear her down." Leslie, a pioneer in women's basketball, knows what it takes to thrive at the highest level, and her support for Caitlin speaks volumes. When a legend like Leslie backs you up, it's a clear sign that the critics have lost the plot. Diana Taurasi, another WNBA legend.
It's the new fans. They're really sensitive these days. You can't say anything. It's kind of like when you go from kindergarten or first grade, there's a learning adjustment. When you go from high school to college, there's a learning adjustment. I don't think I said anything that wasn't factually correct. And like anything, greatness is going to translate. And she's proven that in every level.
Didn't hold back when asked about the backlash Caitlin faces. "It's jealousy, plain and simple. People can't stand to see someone dominate the game like that, especially not this early in her career," Taurasi said. Coming from a player who's seen it all, Taurasi's words cut straight to the heart of the issue. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rising star. She's a threat to the old guard, and they're scrambling to hold on to what little relevance they have left.
Because with Caitlin comes millions and millions and millions of more eyeballs.
Molly Karam tried to insert herself into the Caitlin Clark narrative in a different way, attempting to downplay Clark's success with a thinly veiled call for fairness. In a recent segment, she said, "We need to make sure we're respecting all the stars in the WNBA, not just Caitlin Clark." It's almost laughable. "Molly, how about respecting the fact that Caitlin is dominating the league like no one else right now?" Karam's comments reek of jealousy. Sure, other players exist, but when someone is performing at a level that eclipses the rest of the league, they deserve the spotlight. The truth is, Caitlin's the one driving viewership, increasing ticket sales, and making the WNBA relevant in ways it hasn't been for years. No amount of forced fairness can deny that Caitlin Clark is the face of women's basketball today. And then there's Sheryl Swoopes, a WNBA legend whose bitterness is showing more and more as Caitlin continues to shatter records. Swoopes famously claimed, "Caitlin wouldn't last in my era." Really, Sheryl? While your era was iconic in its own right, times have changed, and Caitlin Clark is playing in a league that's more competitive, faster, and under far more scrutiny than ever before. Swoopes seems unable to accept the reality that the game has evolved. Every time she tries to undermine Caitlin's accomplishments, Clark responds by breaking another record. And what does Swoopes do? She doubles down on her outdated critiques, looking more irrelevant with every word. At this point, it's clear that Cheryl is just another critic who can't handle the fact that Caitlin Clark is redefining the future of the sport. No one has made their disdain for Caitlin Clark more public than Angel Reese. The rivalry between Reese and Clark has been brewing for a while, but it hit new lows when Reese mocked Clark on the court with her infamous "you can't see me" gesture. Reese's jealousy has always been obvious, but the pettiness reached a new level when she cheered after Clark was shoved in a recent game. Reese didn't stop there. In an interview, she said, "Caitlin's good, but people act like she's the only player out there. There's more to the WNBA than just her." Oh, Angel, we get it. You're bitter. But let's be real for a second. Caitlin's dominance is undeniable. Reese's constant need to take shots at Clark only makes her look more desperate. While Reese focuses on petty rivalries, Caitlin is focused on breaking records and becoming the face of women's basketball. The difference in maturity is clear, and it's not doing Reese any favors. Lexi Brown is another player who's found herself bitter about Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise. When Ice Cube publicly offered Clark a $5 million deal to play in the Big Three League, Brown was quick to voice her frustrations. "I've been grinding for years and never got that kind of offer. Why does Caitlin, a rookie, get it so easily?" Brown's jealousy was palpable. But here's the harsh truth. Caitlin's marketability and success are beyond just basketball talent. She's a brand. Her ability to draw fans, increase viewership, and put the WNBA in the spotlight is something few others have done. Lexi's gripe doesn't come from fairness, it comes from envy. While Brown continues to voice her resentment, Caitlin is securing deals and breaking records like it's second nature. One of the biggest controversies surrounding Caitlin Clark came when she was left off the USA Olympic team. Despite her undeniable talent, the WNBA decided to pass her over, sparking outrage among her fans. Even Caitlin's haters were shocked by this decision. Many believe this was less about skill and more about politics, an effort to humble Clark after her rapid rise to fame. But did the Olympic snub faze Caitlin? Not in the slightest. If anything, it gave her more fuel to prove her critics wrong. She doesn't need an Olympic selection to validate her greatness. She's already showing the world who she is on the court. If anything, the Olympics missed out on a golden opportunity to showcase one of the greatest talents of this generation. What makes Caitlin Clark so threatening to her critics isn't just her basketball skills, it's her resilience. She refuses to be dragged down by the negativity surrounding her. While the Skip Baylesses, Angel Reeses, and Cheryl Swoops of the world continue to find new ways to criticize her, Caitlin keeps doing what she does best, winning. Her ability to stay focused in the face of constant scrutiny is what makes her so dangerous. She's not just playing against her rivals on the court, she's playing against an entire narrative designed to bring her down. And yet, Caitlin thrives in this environment. The more the critics try to tear her apart, the stronger she becomes. Let's not forget that Caitlin's impact goes far beyond just basketball. She's inspiring the next generation of athletes, both male and female, to push boundaries and challenge the status quo. Caitlin is showing young girls everywhere that they can dream big, work hard, and rise to the top, no matter what obstacles they face. Caitlin's journey is more than just about breaking records. It's about breaking barriers. Her influence on the WNBA has been compared to Michael Jordan's impact on the NBA. Much like how Jordan changed the face of basketball forever, Caitlin is doing the same for women's basketball. She's making it mainstream, exciting, and profitable in ways no one thought possible. The bullies, the haters, the critics, they've all tried to bring Caitlin Clark down, but they've only succeeded in making her stronger. Caitlin's rise is unstoppable, and the more they throw at her, the more she thrives. Her legacy is already untouchable, and this is just the beginning. If you think Caitlin's going anywhere, you're dead wrong. She's here to stay, and her critics are going to have to deal with it. So, if you're ready to watch the rise of a legend, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what Caitlin Clark does next, because trust me, it's going to be legendary.